South Africans woke up this week to a political tremor that many have described as bold, if not outright reckless. Fikile Mbalula, the African National Congress, ANC Secretary-General, has unofficially named President Cyril Ramaphosa's successor. Whether this was an unguarded slip, a calculated power move, or the party revealing its hand earlier than intended, the message was unmistakable: Ramaphosa's time is nearing its end. The ANC's carefully maintained ambiguity about its succession strategy was shattered by a single sentence. The press conference where this revelation occurred had initially been scheduled to discuss coalition negotiations following the ANC's disastrous election performance. But Mbalula veered off script. Instead of the usual diplomatic reassurances, he named a figure that immediately sent waves of speculation rippling through the political establishment: Paul Moshatile, the current deputy president. His words, spoken deliberately and with clear intent, were widely interpreted as more than casual praise. For many observers, they amounted to a de facto announcement of succession. This statement could not have come at a more fragile moment. For the first time since 1994, the ANC's share of the national vote fell below the 50% mark, a historical low for Africa's oldest liberation movement. Coalition talks with opposition parties are still underway, yet Mbalula's remarks felt less like political negotiation and more like a thunderclap, an unmistakable signal that the ANC's internal balance of power is shifting dramatically. For President Ramaphosa, the silence that followed was deafening. Known for his measured and calculated communication style, he responded only with a bland appeal for unity and stability. But the public was not convinced. To many South Africans, his failure to openly challenge Mbalula's statement could be read in two ways: either as quiet acceptance, a man who recognizes his era is ending and is preparing to step down gracefully, or as a strategic silence, a prelude to an intense internal struggle that could fracture the ANC from within. Behind closed doors, sources suggest Ramaphosa is being quietly urged by ANC veterans to consider an exit. Many within the party's old guard reportedly believe his leadership has lost its spark. They accuse him of indecision, hesitation at critical moments, and an inability to rally the party's grassroots. Detractors claim that under his tenure, the ANC has steadily lost both credibility and votes. Supporters counter that Ramaphosa held the nation together through turbulent times, preventing South Africa from descending into chaos. Yet even they acknowledge that his popularity at the polls has dwindled significantly. Whispers within the ANC suggest that this may have always been the plan: Ramaphosa would see the coalition negotiations through, steer the country through post-election uncertainty, and then step aside, handing over the reins to his deputy. If that was indeed the strategy, then Mbalula may have simply spoken too soon, revealing a plan that was meant to remain behind the scenes. But to the public, the spectacle is now out in the open. On social media, the fallout has been explosive. Hashtags like #RamaphosaOut, #MbalulaMoves, and #Meshtal are dominating online spaces. For some South Africans, Mbalula's outburst is a breath of fresh air. They see Ramaphosa as the embodiment of stagnation, too cautious, too slow, and too compromised to inspire renewal. To them, a new face like Moshatile represents a chance to revive the nation and breathe new energy into an exhausted government. Others, however, are alarmed. They view Ramaphosa as a stabilizing figure, the last thread preventing the ANC from total collapse. To these citizens, Mbalula's statement was not only reckless but dangerous. It undermines democratic processes both within the party and the broader political system. One viral post captured this sentiment perfectly: Mbalula is not a prophet, and South Africa is not his congregation. We vote. We decide. Not him. Meanwhile, the ANC faces one of its darkest hours. Coalition negotiations hang in the balance, and opposition parties can smell vulnerability. The Democratic Alliance, Economic Freedom Fighters, and even Jacob Zuma's new MK party are circling like vultures, each hoping to exploit the ANC's internal chaos. For them, this disarray represents an opportunity to fracture the ruling party further, capture disillusioned voters, and position themselves as credible alternatives. If Paul Moshatile truly is set to take over from Ramaphosa, the task before him is monumental. He would inherit not only a deeply divided ANC but also a country burdened with unemployment, poverty, corruption scandals, and an economy that refuses to grow. While Moshatile is respected for his political intelligence and strong organizational skills, he lacks the broad, statesman-like popularity that Ramaphosa once enjoyed. To the average South African, he remains a relatively unknown quantity, viewed by some as capable and by others as merely a compromise candidate backed by powerful ANC insiders. That, of course, raises a fundamental question about power itself. If Moshatile ascends to the presidency with Mbalula as his most vocal backer, will he be an independent leader or merely a figurehead controlled by the ANC's entrenched inner circle? Many South Africans have seen this pattern before, where true authority lies not in the president's office, but in the shadowy corridors of Luthuli House. As for Mbalula, the episode has further cemented his reputation as both a firebrand and a lightning rod. Known for his fiery tweets, brash rhetoric, and unfiltered commentary, he has built a career on provocation. Yet, this time, critics argue that he may have gone too far. Political analysts accuse him of breaching party protocol, sabotaging delicate coalition talks at a crucial moment, and publicly undermining the president's authority in a way that could not have been more conspicuous. Still, some interpret Mbalula's move as brilliant political theater, a deliberate gambit forcing the ANC to confront its internal fractures and accelerate the inevitable transfer of power. Whether seen as sabotage or strategy, one fact is undeniable: Mbalula has once again placed himself squarely at the center of national attention. Love him or loathe him, he understands one of politics' oldest truths: attention equals power. The coming weeks will be decisive. If coalition agreements strengthen Ramaphosa's standing, he may cling to power a little longer, securing the time to step down on his own terms. But if support for Moshatile gains momentum, Ramaphosa could find himself increasingly cornered, with resignation as his only honorable exit. For ordinary South Africans, the stakes could not be higher. A mix of betrayal, hope, anxiety, and anticipation hangs in the air. Citizens, weary from corruption scandals, power cuts, and economic hardship, long for leadership that delivers tangible progress. Yet, they remain wary of polished promises and leaders who prioritize party interests over public good. The ANC stands at a defining crossroads. Its decisions in the coming days will shape not only the party's fate but the nation's trajectory for years to come. The questions linger: will the movement rally behind Ramaphosa for stability, or gamble on Moshatile as the face of renewal? And will Mbalula's daring outburst be remembered as reckless bravado, or as the spark that ignited a new political dawn?